Welcome to The Explainer. So today we are taking a really fascinating systemic journey into how our bodies actually manage fluids. For decades, the absolute golden rule of health has just been drink your 8 glasses of water a day, right? Well, looking at the research, the biological truth is way more intricate and honestly far more incredible than that. We're going to move past those old cliches today and explore the true paradox of hydration.
Let's kick things off with a couple of questions that might totally challenge what you thought you knew. First, can drinking too much water actually be dangerous? And second, why on earth the skin that is desperately dehydrated often become incredibly oily? These are some wildly counterintuitive biological paradoxes, and the answers really lie in understanding that hydration isn't just about water volume. It's about this incredibly delicate, microscopic balance.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the body's electrical grid. Second, the kidneys as the master regulators. Third, hydration and blood sugar. Fourth, the dehydration oily skin link. And finally, how to achieve perfect fluid balance.
Okay, diving right into Section 1, the body's electrical grid.
When we think of hydration, we naturally just think of water. But healthy hydration is actually all about the bioelectrical system that literally powers every single thought, heartbeat, and muscle movement you make. And this whole shebang comes down to something called the action potential. Basically, when your brain tells your hand to move, it sends an electrical disturbance down a neuron. For that signal to actually travel, specialized channels open up. Sodium rushes in, potassium flows out, and that shift in electrical charge physically pushes the signal down your nerve fiber. Without these charged minerals, which we know as electrolytes, that electrical signal just stops.
Let's look at our top cellular conductors. We've got sodium and potassium, and they're basically managing your nerve transmission and keeping your heart rhythm steady. Then we have calcium, which is actively triggering your muscle movements, while magnesium quietly steps in to prevent cramps and fatigue. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that even a tiny, slight imbalance in these specific minerals can cause a major disruption. So if you're feeling inexplicable brain fog, persistent fatigue, or those awful random muscle cramps, your body isn't necessarily just thirsty for water, it's actually experiencing a dip in its electrical grid.
Moving right along to Section 2, kidneys, the master regulators.
If we compare the two extremes here, we all kind of know the dangers of underhydration, right? Crystals stick together to form kidney stones, your blood vessels narrow, and you get severe muscle cramps. Not fun. But look at fluid overload on the right, it can be just as dangerous, if not more so. When you drink way too much water way too fast, it dilutes the sodium in your blood. This can lead to swelling in your limbs, shortness of breath, and dangerously low blood sodium that can literally be fatal. This is exactly why patients with advanced chronic kidney disease who produce little to no urine have to strictly limit their fluid intake. It's just a really powerful reminder that more water does not automatically equal better health.
All right, Section 3, hydration and blood sugar.
To really understand this link, we've got to look at the basic mechanics of diabetes. Think of your cells as little doors, and insulin is the key. With type 1 diabetes, an autoimmune response means insulin has completely disappeared because the pancreas just isn't making it. No key. With type 2, the insulin is definitely there, but cellular resistance makes the lock super rusty and incredibly hard to open. But in both of these cases, the end result is the same. Glucose is trapped in the bloodstream.
And this is where the hydration connection becomes absolutely fascinating. When you are dehydrated, your body hits a bit of a panic button and releases a hormone called vasopressin. Now, vasopressin actually tells your liver to start producing more sugar. Crazy, right? So if you're already struggling with high blood glucose, being dehydrated is actively making it worse. Conversely, if you stay properly hydrated, it reduces insulin resistance, allowing your cells to use that glucose more efficiently. Plus, it helps your kidneys literally flush the excess sugar right out of your system through your urine.
Let's zoom all the way out to the surface of our bodies for Section 4, the dehydration oily skin link.
The sources outline this biological domino effect, known as the oily skin paradox. It is incredibly counterintuitive and, honestly, a great example of how our bodies sometimes kind of betray us. Think about the middle of summer. You might think your skin is just naturally sweaty and greasy from the heat, but often it's actually deeply dehydrated. Here's what happens. Step 1. The heat strips your skin of its essential moisture. Step 2. Your skin's natural protective barrier gets impaired. Step 3 is the real kicker. Your sebaceous glands completely panic. They realize precious water is escaping, so they overcompensate by pumping out a massive amount of sebum just to try and seal the skin shut. The result? Step 4, an incredibly greasy complexion that is actually deep down crying out for water.
Because of that horrible, greasy feeling, people very often make some common, yet entirely flawed skincare mistakes. You feel oily, so you wash your face a million times a day. You use harsh alcohol-based astringents because you want to dry out the oil. You might even decide to skip your moisturizer entirely, or you aggressively exfoliate. Well, every single one of these actions inadvertently speeds up the dehydration cycle. You strip away the protective oil, your skin panics all over again, and it pumps out even more grease. To actually fix oily skin, you need to hydrate it using lightweight ingredients. Things like hyaluronic acid or glycerin, which pull moisture into the skin without adding heavy, clogging oils.
And that brings us to our final wrap-up, Section 5, Achieving Perfect Fluid Balance.
The National Kidney Foundation frames this whole equilibrium thing perfectly. They say healthy hydration means having the right amount of water in your body. Too little water is dehydration, and too much is fluid overload. The ultimate goal here, folks, is not maximum water intake. It's really not about forcing yourself to chug a massive gallon jug of water every single day. It's all about finding that biological equilibrium.
So how do we actually achieve that perfect balance in our everyday lives? Well, here are the actionable takeaways. First off, drink water consistently throughout the day, rather than chugging massive amounts all at once. Sip, don't chug. Second, remember your body's electrical grid. You've got to replenish your sodium, potassium, and magnesium by eating mineral-rich whole foods. We're talking leafy greens, avocados, bananas. Third, protect your external barrier. Use those lightweight topical hydrators we talked about so your skin doesn't feel the need to overproduce oil. And finally, just listen to your body's signs. Things like muscle cramps, midday fatigue, and unexpectedly oily skin. Those are your body's way of flashing the warning lights and telling you that the balance is off.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought today. The next time you reach for a glass of water or apply a harsh astringent to oily skin, ask yourself, are you truly hydrated, or is your body secretly overcompensating just to keep the lights on? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep listening to your body, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.